So hi, I'm Kaitlin Lopez. I'm a Condor crew lead at Pinnacles National Park, and today I'm going to talk to you about California condors and them exploring the Diablo and Gabilan ranges. Okay. So condors in Pinnacles National Park. Who has been to Pinnacles National Park? Nice, so many. Okay. Who has seen a condor at Pinnacles National Park? Nice. So all the condors at Pinnacles National Park are part of the Central California flock. We co-manage the flock with Ventana Wildlife Society. Right now we have 119, that's including the 6 that we got from the Oregon Zoo this past September. 3 of them have just been released on Monday, and there's interns as I speak watching them, trying to chase them around the park today. 44 of those are managed by Pinnacles, the rest are managed by Ventana. The condors have no idea who manages them. Some of them love Pinnacles, some of them love the coast, but a lot of them go in between. Right now, there's over 550 condors alive today. 350 of those are in the wild. The rest are in captivity for the breeding program or ambassadors and stuff like that. SoCal has around 105, 110. Arizona, Utah flock has around 102. There's another flock in Baja, Mexico that has around 35. And our newest release site in Humboldt area, managed by the Yurok tribe, has around 20-ish now. So yeah, quite a jump from the 20 we had in the 1980s. So it's great to see. So I like to say we're helicopter moms to the condors. We know who they're dating. We try to figure out where they're feeding. If they're sick, we try to help them as immediately as we can. So every condor is born and given a stud book number, and it's chronologically based on birth order. So number 1 is Topa Topa. He's 58 years old, born in 1966. One of those from the 20 originally captured. And then our youngest one, born in May, is 1318. And so the color for the vinyl tags signifies the first number and second number of the stud book number. So 900s are tan and 300s are blue. So 986 is on the left and 375 is on the right. It's a little confusing now because now we have 1200 and 1300, and those have like a line underneath. So 1318 will be a blue tag, but with a line under 18. For tracking condors, we use visual observations and radio telemetry and GPS. So you can see 986 is sporting that nice radio telemetry tracking device, and the 375 is supporting that clunky GPS where you can actually see the solar panel battery. So visual observations, that's us going in the field and hiking, or it's you guys sending us pictures and we seeing who's out there and reading the tags for you all. We also have remote cameras at our bait sites. That's the one on the right. I hear these two playing with each other. We also recently partnered or work with UC San Diego's Alert California cameras. Those are public. Anyone can go find them on Google and stuff. They are used for wildfire smoke to detect wildfires, but recently our condors have loved the communication towers that a lot of them are on. And yeah, the Alert California people are getting a kick out of all the weird faces that they've been making on the cameras, both in the Southern California flock and our flock. This one was taken near the hills east of Hollister area. So with radio tracking, usually someone like Joseph, he's our best tracker, by the way, goes out and to high places and takes signals every hour and searches for all of them that have radio transmitters. Every bird is given a radio transmitter, but they usually die within 2 to 5 years, the battery, that is. It has some limitations because someone physically has to go out there. We don't have a way to passively do radio telemetry right now. GPS monitoring is more passive. We get reports, and the GPSs we have right now are based on satellite information, and they're given hits every hour. We have had ones in the past that are cellular towers, but there's very few cell towers near Pinnacles and above and below. And we have had ones that do it every like 5 minutes, but that's just an overload of data. We have a great number of condors that have GPS right now, but they sometimes die. And we try to get all the females with GPSs because we can find nests. And so GPSs really help us locate nests and make sure they're still active, making sure the parents still go to the nest. They alert possible threats, like we can see the communication towers on Google Earth, and so we weren't sure exactly if this was a problem or not. Or mortalities, if a bird is still for too long, we get alerts and we can go out there right away to see if it's sick or if it's dead. And attracts notable big flights like the Mount Diablo flight that they did this past year. So I have some maps for you guys. So I picked the summer months because that's really when condors explore the most. The days are long, the thermals are really good because of the hot weather. The chicks are old enough to where they can defend themselves from big nest predators, but they're not yet fledging. They usually fledge in October and November. So the parents come back for that time and make sure they do their first flights well. But those that nest failed or didn't nest that year have room, they have no responsibilities. The ones that are right on the cusp of adulthood will explore a little bit more too and try to find new territories. And so I picked 2021 as a graph to contrast with 2024 because that is when 828 made it to Mount Diablo back in 2021. Just looking at these two maps, you can see that there's a bunch of red hits in the Southern California area. That is actually Condor 1027. She was born in Pinnacles. She's my favorite condor because I watched her from an egg to a chick to a flying condor. She made a trip down to SoCal flock in 2023, made a couple trips back and forth, but this year she's just staying down there and was actually handled by the SoCal flock team. They track her, she's going to their bait sites. She's just a SoCal condor bird now. But I wanted to point out, like south of Pinnacles National Park is this area called Bitterwater. That's a historical hotspot for condors, especially the old ones from Ventana. They loved that area. And we're starting to see less and less activity down there and more activity up north near Pacheco Pass, the hills east of San Jose area. And here's a closer look. If it works for me. Okay. So the Pacheco Pass area is especially a hot spot right now, the pass between Gilroy and the San Luis Reservoir, Los Baños area. We've seen condors stay there for a couple of days, a week. They love the communication towers up there. We're not sure why they're hanging out there. We don't know if it's a trend that's gonna stay or if they're just there for a couple of years. We're not exactly sure. Joseph and I speculate on it all the time. But you can really see in 2021, 828 was not really with anyone else when she went up there. There was no real activity around here, especially in the Pacheco Pass area. There's a couple of condors exploring. There's another flight over there, but not too much activity. And it was a real trendsetter of 828 to explore up there versus all these birds, all these hits, especially this area east of Hollister, east of Gilroy, all those hills that are nice and conducive for condor flights that they've just been taking a liking to recently. And so the Mount Diablo flight, I have little arrows showing exactly where the flight was taking place and which direction they went. So 7 condors on August 18th did a big flight up from the San Jose Alumni Rock Hills area up towards Mount Diablo, and all 7 of them actually went to the Lime Ridge open space, probably saw all of this and then turned back. 3 of them left by August 19th, but a couple of them stayed another couple of days. Weirdly, 1021, the turquoise dot right here, must have joined them, must have saw them and kind of joined them up there, but everyone else did that nice flight together up there. And this is only the birds with GPSs, so there might have been more. I think we got a picture of a bird that was around here that didn't have a GPS, so there's likely more that went up there and we just don't know about it. So nest monitoring, one of the big things for the Condor program is documenting births and deaths. So nest monitoring, condors luckily have a nice GPS pattern of one parent's on the nest doing nothing but incubating, occasionally stretching their wings, but not eating, not going out anywhere, just staying and incubating the little baby chick or the egg for 3 days. And then the next parent comes and switches with them and they take the 3-day shift. So you can really see on GPS and through our tracking and observations that there's one condor just there constantly. This condor right here is the first hatchling of the Pinnacles National Park this year. That one is only a day oldish, and you can see the father has that nice sporting GPS, 868, first time dad. I have a video that I think will play. Nice, okay. So this is one of the cavities. This is 1275 from the last picture. She's around 2.5 years old, or 2.5 months old at this point, flapping her wings, getting those strong muscles. I wanted to show you the rock cavity kind of nest, what it looks like inside. So we actually went inside to put in the cameras and fit 4 people in that nest. So it's quite a big cavity. And prairie falcons have actually used that in the past. So that's probably why a lot of their historic whitewash around here. But 868 and 931 took it over this year and raised successfully this chick. This chick on Wednesday was flying around for several minutes by itself with its parents sometimes, but by itself other times. So it's doing very well right now. We have had a historic record for Central California nests this year. We have 9 fledglings, we suspect. 5 of them have been visually confirmed. We've seen them fly. They're doing great. 4 of them are based on GPS and radio tracking and how frequent the parents show up at the bait sites. We can see from GPS that they're continuing going to their nest site for a decent amount of time. So on the flip side of birth is death, mortality. Lead poisoning is still the #1 reason for death in condors. The lead bullets fragmentize very easily in carcasses, and they make these tiny pinpoint fragments that you could barely see from a naked eye, but they just wipe out the condors. This graph is from U.S. Fish and Wildlife. It's almost a year old now. They put out a graph every year based on the population number, so we'll get one in a couple of months. But from 1992 to 2023, all of the wild condor deaths, 48% of them have been from lead poisoning, which is a huge number. But I did want to point out the 11% predation. At 11%, that is mostly chicks that are not old enough to defend themselves, or maybe the parent died, or maybe their parents aren't watching them very closely. And so that's a big reason why chicks die, is predation. Another 11% is illness and disease, which significantly increased due to avian influenza, H-Pi in the Arizona flock. We are still keeping a very tight eye on avian influenza. It's still something we're navigating, and especially with cows in Central California being tested positive for that, we're keeping a very close eye on it. But so far, we've tested every condor we handled, and none have had H-Pi so far. If you see a condor, condorspotter.com is a great way for you to figure out which condor you saw. If you're still unsure, or you just want to tell us, you can email us at pin_condors@nps.gov. That's especially helpful in the Bay Area because we have really no one in the Bay Area. So if you have any pictures of condors in the Bay Area or near Casa de Fruta, we got some previously in the summer from people that were just birding in Casa de Fruta area, and we got to see some condors that hardly are ever seen in Pinnacles. So that was really cool. We want to know your sighting. So, and that's it for me. Thank you, Save Mount Diablo, and for allowing me to present on condors and continuing the contribution to condor recovery. And any questions? Yes.
Yeah, Kaitlin, are you familiar with the effort to try to reintroduce condors up in Sonoma County, Sonoma Coast?
No, I have not heard of that, to be honest. Okay.
David, would you just remind people what Save Mount Diablo's contribution is?
Yes, they have given us so many GPSs, and so that's why I presented a little bit more on the GPS side, which is very helpful in so many ways. Mortalities, nest observations, and seeing those big flights. And it's really exciting that so many of them went to Mount Diablo this year. I hope that they continue going north, because there's a lot of good cliffs out there that they can nest in, and especially using old falcon or old eagle nests would be great up there.
Yeah, years ago I went on a Montana visit, and there had been a hypothesis at the time that condor predation or attacks were causing mortality, especially older condors attacking younger. Has there been any advance on that?
So there's one condor in particular, Redwood Queen 190, that has been known to kill condors, young condors, especially chicks that just fledged. She is mainly the only one. Sometimes the condors, when they're super sick, the others will attack it just as like an animal instinct kind of thing. We haven't seen that much of that at Pinnacles. I'm trying to think of like older, like bullying younger ones to the point of death. They always fight, but it's never like contact where it's bleeding or anything. I know 190 has been known to be a little.
Yeah, she's like drove other condors into the trees.
Yeah, she's cool but crazy. That's it. Cool.
Thank you so much.